Hey there, Lisa here. Welcome to my channel. I hope you'll join me in my love of crafting and DIYs and hit that subscribe button. Today's video, I received a mystery box of napkins and I get to create a project with it. Okay, so who's excited to see what napkins I got? So I received my napkins from Craft with Miriam. I will have her YouTube channel linked in the description box as well, so be sure to check her out. So these are the napkins that I received, and I can use any or all of them, and so I am going to try to use several. All right, so let's get busy and make our napkin patchwork flower. For this project, you will need a wooden flower shape, a paint stick, 2 Dollar Tree wooden dominoes, napkins, a wood round, it's a 3-inch wood round, a small tree stump, Mod Podge, napkins, paint, a popsicle stick, and then I also used paintbrushes, scissors, wood glue, hot glue gun, clamps, a drill, pencil, and a marker. Okay, so the first thing I did was paint my paint stick green. Now, I would recommend going over this with a couple of coats of white first if you are trying to cover something such as the Home Depot here. I probably did 6 coats of the green to get it covered. Then I took these 2 little dominoes that I had from the Dollar Tree. They come from the toy section, and I drew a leaf on them and then I cut them out. I like using these because they are wood, but they're super thin, and so they're easy to draw on and then just cut with a pair of scissors. So that is what I am doing here. And then once I had one cut, then I traced it and cut the other one out. And then once I had them all cut out the way I wanted, I gave them a good sanding because you do get some pretty jagged edges when you're using scissors. So I did give them a good sanding. I did peel off the paper, mostly because it started to peel and I kind of like peeling it off. And then once I had them all sanded nice, I took the same green paint that I had used for the stem and gave them several coats. Again, several coats. I did have to do a lot less as I did with the paint stick. And I did forget to mention that I painted front, back, sides of the leaves and the paint stick stem. Then I took my flower shape and I took the sticker off and cut the hanger off and filled the hole with some nail filler, and then I sanded the hole nice and flush, and then I took a coat of white paint and did front, back, and sides, and I did do 2 coats of the white on this, front, back, and sides. And then I took my wood round, this is a 3-inch, and I covered it in Mod Podge, and then I took what I wanted to be the middle of the flower, which was this saying on this napkin, keep life simple, as it is a great reminder for me to keep life simple. I tend to try to overcomplicate things. So I wanted this to be the center of my flower. So then I lay it down. I try a few different ways to smooth things here. My best is still just with my fingers. So anyways, once I had it on and it had dried, then I took a sanding file and sanding in a downward motion, I cut off the excess. So what you're gonna see here is basically my outtakes. I redid this flower 3 times. I did one side and then I put a square in the middle and I didn't really like it. And so I decided to redo it. So then on the back side, I started something else. And once again, that middle piece got me when I layered some tissue paper, and I was not fond of that. This is one of those projects that I just had an idea in my head that I just couldn't quite bring to fruition. I still think it's a really cool idea, and I still think it turned out pretty darn unique. But I kind of want to redo it and see if I can get the visual in my head out on some art. This in there though, because some of them were starting to look out kind of cool, and if I hadn't messed up the middle, that it might spark some inspiration in you. This is part of a collaboration, the Napkin Exchange Challenge. It is hosted by Sarah at Sunflowers and DIY and Theresa at Theresa B DIY. Both channels will be linked in my description box. Be sure to check them out. In other exciting news, there is a giveaway. So there will be a playlist of several creators who are taking part in this challenge. And if you go through the playlist and comment on everyone's videos, you will be entered for a chance to win some fun tools as well as some mystery napkins. Okay, so this is the take that we're going with. I put my circle in the middle and I did trace around it so that I knew where the ends of my triangles would go. And then I cut out 5 triangle shapes out of the tissue paper that I chose. And then I took and Mod Podged them on, making sure that the bottoms went inside the circle. Now this was the problem that I had with take 1, was they were showing, which is why I ended up with the huge square in the middle that I ended up not liking. Anyways, I had to re-maneuver them several times, but a little bit of Mod Podge, put the tissue paper down, smooth it down however you choose. I tend to just prefer to just smooth it down with my fingers. And then I always put a little bit of Mod Podge on top as well. And so I went around and got those all laid in. And then once that was all good and stuck down, then I took a circle and I cut out just a little bit bigger than my middle section, and I Mod Podged that down. And then I took and cut out these little diamond shapes out of a different pattern in the napkin. And I decided to do butterflies on these. So I cut out just a butterfly on each diamond. And so I did do 5 butterfly diamonds. The back of one of the napkins was a plain color, so I did take and cut the same size diamonds out of that as well. I don't show that. So I did a solid color and then the butterfly between the pegs of each of the stars. And this part was really fun. It really was like putting like a patchwork quilt together. And here is all of the cuts I have left over. Could make several more if I can find some more flowers. And then what I did was I just took a lead pencil and went around and made my little stitch marks. I was initially going to use black Sharpie, but I thought it was just a little bit dark for how light this was turning out. I also went around the little yellow piece that I had put in the middle, as well as around the leaves and through the middle of them. I took the grass and flowers off of this napkin and I trimmed it up, and then I cut some notches in it so that the top wasn't even, and then I did Mod Podge this to the bottom of the paint stick. I left it up just a little bit from the bottom as I knew that it would be glued into the stump there. And so I Mod Podged that on, and then I did a coat of Mod Podge over everything, the leaves, the middle, as well as the flower. And my flower did wrinkle pretty good here. Once the Mod Podge had dried on the stem, I sanded that off, and then I ended up going back over the leaves with a black Sharpie because it didn't show up well on there. Once everything had dried, see, you can see the back, that's my one that was turning out cool until I put the huge square in it. But I used a combination of wood glue as well as hot glue and glued the paint stick stem to the back of the flower. Then I used a popsicle stick to attach the leaves. I was initially going to do them at sort of a slanted motion and just glue them to the back of the paint stick, but I was concerned that it wasn't going to hold. So I did do them straight across, and I used the popsicle stick to create extra hold on the back. And so what I did was, again, using a combination of wood glue and hot glue, I added some to the end of the popsicle stick, and then I put a leaf on that end. And then I repeated the process on the other side. I did have the stem laid in the middle because I wanted to make sure that they were right up against the edge of it. Also, once the leaves were glued on, I am going to glue it to the back of the stick as well. I did glue the center on first. I wanted to let the leaves cure to the popsicle sticks a little bit. So again, hot glue, wood glue, and I glue it down to the center. You did see the back side. I messed up the Keep Life Simple. I got something stuck to it and it ripped, so I redid that. And then I glue my leaves to the back. clamp everything up and let it dry. And while that was going on, I took my tree stump out to the garage. First, I took my paint stick and I traced around it so I knew what size. And then, like I said, I just used a drill bit that was wide enough, and I just drilled several little holes going up and down and then side to side until I had a slat. And then once I had that done, I took it back inside and I filled it with hot glue, stuck the paint stick down inside and filled any gaps with hot glue so that it would stand up straight, and the end. All right, here you go. Here it is, my napkin patchwork flower. This was a challenging project, working with tissue paper, or napkins rather, especially cut in small shapes. It's challenging, and getting it flat, and there was just a whole lot of challenges, but it is a one of a kind. I would love to know what you guys think in the comments.
Do you like it?
Should I just hide it in the closet, or should I put it out on the porch? If you are a Mod Podge expert and know how to get it flat every time, I would love your expertise, because I really love working with this stuff. But these larger projects always end up pretty wrinkly. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. If so, I'd love a like and a subscribe. Be sure to check out the description box and go visit everyone else's videos and comment so you can be entered in the giveaway. Thanks so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.